Hey people of VC, it's Andy Cloudy Milder, and welcome to my September vinyl collection update video. Let's jump in. I've got 9 or 10 albums this time. Some of them are from the same artists. Not many 80s in this one, to be honest. I think I've only got 2. I've been trying to clear through my naughties inbox, for want of a better expression. And yes, I do have a separate inbox for 80 stuff and newer stuff, because that's just me and the way I do it and the way I like to, keep the old stuff and the new stuff. And let's not go into the workings of my irrational issues with vinyl collecting in this video, shall we? So I'm going to start off with a very famous artist who you all know from the main band that he was in and still is in, but he took a break for a while and had a solo career, and I completely didn't follow that at all. It happened at a time when I was off on a different musical journey, but I saw this going for a decent price. It was under 13 quid on Amazon, double album. And I thought I would go for it, because I thought one of my favourite singers, and I thought it'd be great to get a live album by him. So I picked up Bruce Dickinson, Scream for Me, Sarajevo. Now, as you can see from the bottom, it says music from the motion picture, and I was a little bit surprised, and in hindsight very naive, to think that this was a live album. I was aware of the movie, and I subsequently picked it up once I read a little bit more about this, and expected this to be a documentary with live footage as well. But having watched this now, I now know why this is not a live album. It is a soundtrack to this. It's you could call it a compilation, but it's not a best of Bruce Dickinson. I think they've gone through and picked songs from his catalogue that best suit the mood and topic of this movie. And this movie is not your standard rockumentary either. This is quite a harrowing tale of war in sort of war-torn former Yugoslavia, when they were at civil war back in the 90s, and it's really heavy going, I have to say. And the bass player, is it Chris Dale? A lot of it is kind of spoken from his point, and in fact it was his blog, I think, that somebody picked up on and decided to make this movie. This is well worth watching, but it is not an easy watch. It's not. It's basically about the war, and it's not that there's graphic footage or whatever, but it's pretty grim. What the locals, the Bosnians, had to go through during the siege of Sarajevo, and the fact that Bruce Dickinson took his band out there, it's just an amazing story. It's well worth watching just for the story alone. But if you're expecting like a live video, what have you, then you're not going to get it, and you see why you're not going to get it, because they barely had electricity. They were under constant sniper attack, and nobody knew basically if they were going to live the next day. So they played in a hall, maybe a former concert hall. They had to scrounge to get the gear to get it all working, and the fact that this show even took place seems to be a little bit of a miracle. So that's why there's no footage from it, and in hindsight a little bit naive to think that it would be like a concert, a great concert, a Iron Maiden style Bruce Dickinson concert in war-torn Sarajevo. It's the story. I mean, if you just get the album and the soundtrack, get full lots of pictures of Bruce Dickinson's band when they actually went out there, and the story is told by Chris Dale on the inner sleeves, and this is a cracking read. Sometimes I see the inner sleeves for albums that have a story, and with good intentions I mean to read it, but I never get around to it. But this is well worth it. And then you watch the movie and it backs it all up, and you kind of see the memories and the emotions and everything that went into it. It's stunning. I have to say, it's absolutely stunning. And that's just the story, not even the album. I mean, there are cases that they flew out to Split and they were supposed to get a helicopter over to Sarajevo, but basically, they got there and said, we haven't got any transport, we can't do this. And then Bruce Dickinson managed to arrange a lift in the back of a lorry to get out there with some aid workers, people that went out and basically entertained kids. And it's an amazing story. And I thought Bruce Dickinson was one of my heroes beforehand. My regard for him has just gone through the roof as a result of what he's done here and the band, and you could clearly see how it's affected those band members going on. So this, I think the movie was around, I want my glasses, 2016. I think the documentary came out. It was like 20 years or so after the gig had taken place. I thoroughly recommend it, but I say it's not light reading. The album itself is a good selection. As I said, I hadn't really followed Bruce's solo career, so this was actually a good intro in terms of some of the songs. And 2 or 3 of the songs that I realised I did like were actually on Tyrion Souls. Now that's one album that I bought when I saw it cheap again on Amazon, and it's been sitting in the inbox because I've never quite been in the mood. I have Tattooed Millionaire. I've spun that a couple of times. That's still in the inbox because it didn't really do a lot for me, so I've held off playing this one as well. But songs like River of No Return, Navigate the Seas of the Sun, Tyranny of Souls, the title track, absolutely killer stuff. It's not Iron Maiden, it's Bruce Dickinson doing what he wants to do. Bruce Dickinson and Roy Z, not sure how we pronounce his name. Really good songwriting collaboration by the sounds of it. Again, this is Gatefold with the lyrics. It's actually Bruce's 6th studio album, so I've kind of dived in a little bit more at the end, but this one has clicked straight away and absolutely love it. What I didn't realise actually was this was released between Bruce had already rejoined Iron Maiden. This was released between Dance of Death and A Matter of Life and Death, so I hadn't realised he was still doing solo stuff at the time. This is pretty cool. Just get a flat space to put these. Inner sleeve, so this is the 2017 reissue, so it came out in 2005. Let me know, so I do have this one, but let me know which of these I should perhaps try next. I've got an inkling from the songs I like on Scream for Me Sarajevo, but I always like getting pointers from you guys as well. And there's the custom label for Tyrion Souls. Track list on the back. So yeah, I'm into Bruce Dickinson solo stuff now. Now this next band, we've got 3 albums to show by them. Actually, they're brand new to me. I discovered them when I was just having a browse in Bandcamp. Really, I was kind of looking for stuff, and I came across this band called Night. And I gave them a listen, and I loved it straight away. They're from Sweden. They are a sort of traditional heavy metal sounding hard rock band. Very sort of atmospheric. I'll show you the cover while I'm talking. Very sort of atmospheric traditional metal. In fact, the hype sticker says Night's 3rd album contains 9 ravishing rock hymns that show significant musical progression towards a more rock-based sound without leaving the old new wave of British heavy metal sound. Modern take on classic rock combined with a sinister lyrical themes. The album invites the listener on an increasingly organic and diverse journey compared to its predecessors. And that's actually a very, very good description of this album, because I went out and bought their 2nd album based solely on my enjoyment of this one, and it is actually quite different, as you'll hear in a minute. Beautiful artwork. The artwork to me reflects the album. It's kind of atmospheric heavy metal sound. 9 songs. Songs I would check out on here: Fire Across the Sky, Surrender, Strike of Lightning, In fact, it's all good. I absolutely love this album. It's one of these albums that it seems to be really long, but I don't. It isn't necessarily long. It's just that when it ends, I just want to play it again. Again, fantastic artwork. I'm sure. I don't know if this was a particularly famous painting. It probably is. I'm showing my ignorance here. This is on the Sign Records label. Sort of plain black glossy inner sleeve, which sticks to your record with the lyrics. This came on red vinyl. Now, as I said, I bought their second album. So at the time they had 3 albums out. They've got a 4th album out, which I've pre-ordered, but straight away Amazon said it was out of stock on pre-order, and I'm trying to find it anywhere else, and it also seems to be out of stock. So I don't know if the pressing has been, or release has been delayed on vinyl. But I bought Soldiers of Time just on the strength of that first album, and I struggled with this. It's as I say, that the hype stick of the other one said that they'd matured. I mean, I think they definitely have. One thing, if you listen to Night, I think the make or break, what will make or break it for you is the vocal style. He's fairly, I'm not going to say he's unique, but his voice tends to have a sort of a, not a screech, but it tends to be sort of higher, and it undulates between sort of quite high piercing and lower lower tones to it. But yeah, so this one, what I love about this release is it not only comes with a CD, which I think is a fantastic idea when you buy a vinyl record, it also comes with a download as well, in case you didn't know how to rip the CD. So that's absolutely fantastic. Let me take it up here so you can see the artwork properly. This is the symbol here, the mascot. I don't know if he has a name. Kind of reminds you a little bit about the Budgie guys. But yeah, so I struggled with this one, Soldiers of the Night. The vocals that I just mentioned, on here they seem more strained and screechy, and to be honest, it sounds like he struggles a little bit with them, but I persevered with it. A little how my voice just went then, actually. Persevered with it. But there's enough here for me to get over that initial reaction, and I enjoy it now. I've tuned into the way the vocals sound. It's less atmospheric than Raft. It's more galloping, traditional heavy metal. Tracks to check out: Across the Ocean and Towards the Sky. 2 killer tracks from there. Again, lyric inner. This time with nice pretty pictures on it. This is on the Gaffals label, again a Swedish press, which I've never heard of before. Also came with like a poster, sort of a artistic impression of the band. Really well put together release, excuse me. Cheers. And on this green vinyl. So when that one clicked, I went searching for their debut album. Their debut album came out in 2013, self-titled, again on the Gaffals label. This was a little bit harder to come by, so I ended up spending a little bit more, but I didn't want to miss the boat, especially as, you know, I've got the 4th album on pre-order, and to have 2, 3, 4 and miss the debut, that's not good. I've got that with another band I'm going to show coming up, so I don't want to go down that road again. But this is their self-titled album, Night. Again, a very sort of budgie looking character there, and again, artwork of the band in the gatefold. On here, the vocals are fine. He sings with more of an 80s squeal, I guess. Maybe in a similar style to King Diamond, without actually sounding like King Diamond, and it works really, really well with the music. Fire and Steel. Let's track this. Track listens only on the record. That's the wrong record. That's Soldiers of Light. There we are. There's the track listing. Fire and Steel. Out of the ashes. Keep the fire burning. Great traditional metal with soaring vocals. This one came on black vinyl. To me, these three albums, 1, 2, and 3, self-titled, Soldiers of Time and Raft of the World, they kind of show a maturity of the vocals, I think. The first one, very high-pitched. The second was almost like his voice is breaking and settling down. And the third one has much more of a vocal maturity, so I can't wait to hear the fourth album that's coming out. But when it arrives, who knows? But I can't wait. It's one I'm going to spin straight away. 15 minutes already. Wow. Right, we're going to go back to the 80s now. We're going to go to 86. And a band I've seen quite a few times on the VC. So when I had the opportunity to pick it up, I grabbed it, and that's DC Lacroix and A Crack of Doom. I laugh because I think Crack of Doom is such a terrible name for an album for a female-fronted band. God knows what they were thinking. But they're from the USA. This is on the Medusa label. This is Sylvie Lacroix, and she partnered up with DC Dan Christopherson, forming DC Lacroix. Straight up American heavy metal, hard rock. She's got a great voice for rock and metal. It's slightly raspy without being gravelly. Somewhere between Doro, which is always such an easy comparison to make with female singers, isn't it? But Anne Boleyn as well from Hellion. She just has that complete range. Really enjoy this. It's you're not going to find anything too complex on here. It's not thinking man's metal by any means, but it has a lot of catchy tunes, bit simplistic maybe. But it's a fun listen. Black Leather Monster and Crack of Doom. Again, it is childish mind. I know, childish mind. There we go. Medusa label, 1986. DC Lacroix. I mentioned before about Night, about having to grab the debut album because I'd only had 2, 3, and 4. This is another band where I have the second, third, and fourth albums, and another, and this is their fourth one. This is Portrait Burn the World, another Swedish band. Sweden's getting a lot of love in this video. Metal Blade release, Burn the World, 2017, their fourth studio album. I'm missing their first. I have 2 and 3. But this has been in the inbox for absolutely ages. I've spun it quite a few times, but it's just taken a long time to click. And I was only really happy about putting it in the video tonight, really in the last couple of hours. I gave it another spin, and I sat down and I really wanted to listen to it and try and understand what it was about it that wasn't clicking, because it's a good album. There's nothing wrong with it. I enjoy listening to it. But it's one of those albums that when it's finished, I can look at the track list and I'm just thinking, I don't know what that song sounds like. I don't remember that song at all. There's just nothing hooky and catchy enough to me remember to individual songs, and nothing that I would be able to sing back in my head thinking about it. But when I play it, as I say, it's really enjoyable. They're very similar to Ram. But I think I've narrowed down what the issue I have with this is. It's straight up heavy metal, but to me it's almost too technical. There's too much going on in it, so I'm not really getting like a good melody all the way through, or a catchy riff all the way through. It reminds me a lot of Vector's Outer Isolation. That's an album I kind of enjoy. Obviously that's a thrash album, but there's so much going on in it. It just scrambles my head. I'm not really sure at the end of it what I've listened to, even though I quite enjoyed it when I was listening to it. Let's say there's just a lot going on with it. Vocally, it's like Maiden versus Merciful Fate. The lower range is like Bruce Dickinson, the higher range is like King Diamond. So, but you know, they're a good band. They're not Ram, but you know, who else is Ram? But Portrait are worth checking out if you're into your Swedish metal. Say this is Metal Blade, so it comes with all the trimmings. Nice lyric inner. And a poster. I don't think I've ever opened this poster. I presume it is just the cover. Yeah, there we go. Big sort of a bigger version of the cover art. Fantastic cover art on it. But I am looking to pick up the debut album. This actually came on a, what colour do they call this? Pastel rose. Not the most metal colour, but very nice. I did have a black vinyl version of this, which I sent to Darcy, so I wonder how Darcy got on with it. But yeah, there we go. I did promise you 2 albums from the 80s, so here's the second one, and that is Mean Streak and Roadkill. Music for Nations, MFN 89. There's your Swayze. All female thrash metal band from New York. These are a one and done band, and it's difficult to actually find out too much about this band. If you search them, pretty much all you'll find is that the information is that Rena Sands, Lisa Pace, and Marlene Apuzzo are all married to members of Dream Theater. That seems to be the most important thing that people want to talk about when it comes to this band. It's in it's on the Wikipedia, I think. It's on the 80s thrash metal encyclopedia that I've got. I just want to know a little bit more about, you don't hear about who the any other thrash metal members are particularly married to, so I don't know why it's so important on these guys. Obviously, Dream Theater probably a bigger band overall, but really, who cares? But the music itself, it's straightforward speed metal, thrash metal. It's not too thrashy, and the vocals as well are not your typical thrash metal. They're quite strong and melodic. In fact, Marlene has absolutely a cracking voice, brilliant. Engineered by Alex Perialis, the god of engineering and production of 80s thrash metal in the golden era. Songs to check out are Roadkill, Snake Pit, I love, It Seems to Me, and the final track, The Congregation, is your typical 7-minute long kind of thrash metal epic that all bands seem to have somewhere in their discography. But Mean Streak is definitely worth checking out. Not a full-on thrash attack, but there's enough speedy thrash elements to keep me interested, and brilliant vocals on it as well. And as it's a late 80s Music for Nations, we get something more than a plain inner sleeve. There we go. Right, last one for today. Again, an album that everybody showed last year, everybody raved about, or everybody into thrash metal at least. But I held off until I could get it for a price that was more in keeping with my tight purse string, shall we say. And that's Zentrix, Bury the Pain. Back with a bang, first release in 23 years. They have a new singer, Jay Walsh, who coincidentally will be joining myself, Metal Mickey, the Rock Scout, and Mark G with a C on our collaboration channel, Contact in Blood, on the 10th of October, I think it is. So watch out for that. We're going to talk to Jay about how he joined Zentrix, and what he thinks about the new record, and what's the future for Zentrix, and all that good stuff. It'll be a live stream, so you can join in and ask any questions you want as well. But this album absolutely rips. I wish I'd got it a little earlier. Touches of Testament, I'd say, in here, but Let the World Burn and Bury the Pain, 2 great tracks. There's something about the old school bands, old school thrash metal bands coming back and just killing it, more so than the new kids on the block are really doing with thrash metal, certainly in my opinion. This is on listenable records, and we get a nice glossy, stiff inner sheet lyrics. There's J Welsh there, and this one also came on red vinyl. Red is the new black, it seems, when it comes to vinyl. There we go. Right, that's your lot. That's my September update. As always, I love talking to you guys about music in the comments below, so do leave me a comment. Let me know which of these you like or don't like and why you don't like them. That's always good to hear people's opinions on this. Let me know any of the other albums from these artists that you think I should potentially check out if I haven't already, and I'll catch you again soon. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Cheers.